Hi guys, this is Dante with the Drive and Thrive, and I'm going to share with you the top 10 tips for being an Uber Eats driver. Watch to the very end, and make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on news, tips, and tricks for Uber Eats, Doordash, and Postmates. Okay, so I'm going to break down these top 10 tips for you, and the number one tip that I've been trying to drive home with all of us drivers for a long time is don't accept every order. So I'm going to go on over to the split screen here, and here's a list of all the top 10 tips I have for you. Don't accept every order. You are not an Uber employee. You do not have to accept every order. Acceptance rates does not matter. And in fact, accepting every order can really hurt your productivity. A lot of times when you first get your first few pings with Uber Eats, they want you to drive 15 minutes, 20 minutes away from your current spot. Don't do this, okay? And that kind of goes into tip number 3, which I'll get to in a minute. But you want to start at a specific location that you know is going to be near a whole bunch of restaurants, so you don't have to drive far away. You want to save time, you want to save gas, you want to make more money. So tip number 1, don't accept every order. Don't accept the orders that are bad for you. Tip number 2, make a schedule. You can go on the promotions tab on the Uber driver app and you can see all the boost rates for the upcoming week. Not only that, but you can learn that during lunchtime and during dinner times, you'll have surge pricing now. So you can get the advantage of both boost and surge. So it's best to drive during the best times of the day. So if you find that it's slow in your area, it may be because you've been driving at the wrong time. So plan a schedule and make sure to drive when it's most busy. Okay, tip number 3 is plan a strategy. And that strategy goes hand in hand with these first 2 tips. Find the restaurants that are always busy. Find a plaza that has many restaurants, right? And just sit there. Just wait till you get orders and always go back to that spot. So this is a way that you can minimize your drive times and you can maximize your earnings, because it's all about being smart, not working hard. So tip number 3, plan a strategy. And now planning a strategy may take a while. You may have to drive for a week or 2 weeks. You might have to drive for a month before you kind of tailor your strategy to your market, but do that and you'll make a lot more money. Okay, tip number 4, drive during good times. So I kind of talked about that already, but I'll go a little bit further. Not only do you want to drive breakfast, lunch, and dinner and take breaks in between, but you may also want to drive at night because there's less traffic in your city. Depends on what city you live. You may want to drive at night. And the best times that I've found, for me anyway, is Saturday and Sunday, with Sunday being the best day of the week to drive. So if you haven't been driving on Sundays, go ahead, give it a shot. Sunday may be your best time to drive. It may make you more profitable. It's a day that maybe you wouldn't realize is the best day of the week. In Seattle, for example, it's the best day because there's less traffic and more people order. Well, no one's working. People order food. People don't want to cook, etc., etc., etc. So just try finding the best times for your location. And for me, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and also on the weekends is the best time for me. Tip number 5. Now this might be something that, no one does. I figured out this trick from Doordash actually, when I got into trouble with customer ratings, and I would just bring little suckers and I would just put it in the bag, or I'd hand it to the customers and I would say, thank you for being a customer, and I'd leave. And I noticed that my ratings improved dramatically, right? So leave a little treat if you can. Always remember, even if the restaurant doesn't give, extra condiments, always just remember to put them in a bag. Just try to do something just a little bit extra to help you stand out from even other drivers, so that way they'll be more motivated to leave you a 5-star rating or to leave you a tip. Okay, number 6, de-escalate if anything bad happens. Okay, we all try our best, but every once in a while, either through our mistake or the restaurant's mistake, we forget something. Either it's utensils, it's a soda can, whatever we forget. When you get to the customer, own it. Try to make it right. If you forget a soda and They're like, oh, I ordered a soda and you forgot, or the restaurant forgot. Say, so, I'm so sorry. It's my mistake. I'll go right back to the restaurant and get it for you. Now, most of the time, a lot of times I've found that they'll say, look, I don't want you to go all the way back just for a soda. But if you own responsibility, if you don't try to say, oh, it was the restaurant's mistake, just you personally own responsibility, I found that it'll go a long way to helping your rating and to helping you get tips. Now, number 7, now this is something I do. I like to over communicate. And this is also something I learned from Doordash as far as rating goes. And, for a long time, I never did it with Ubereats. I never found that I had to. But it does go a long way to giving you more tips, getting you more tips in the long run. Okay, so what I like to do is, once I get an order, when I arrive at the restaurant, I text the customer. That also gives them an opportunity. So, to remind you if they want mayonnaise or whatever, or ketchup, or if they want a certain soda, whatever it is, if they want to change their mind about a certain soda, it gives them the opportunity to address that to you. And it also lets them know the status of their delivery. So then once I get the food and I'm on my way, I'll text them that I'm on my way, and I'll text them an ETA. So it's very helpful because that way, they're not always, wondering, oh, when is my food going to get here? They don't have to check the app. Boom, you've been communicating with them. They know that you're working hard for them. Then if you do what I suggest, offer them a little treat at the end, you really stand out as a 5-star Uber Eats driver, and they'll be more likely to do 2 things: rate you high and tip you. Tips is very important, right? Okay, now tip number 8, and now this goes into tip number 3, and it could be hit or go. So this strategy might be for you, it might not be for you. It depends on what kind of area you live in. But the fancier the restaurant, the bigger the tip. I learned this tip while driving with Postmates, because with Postmates, sometimes I get like ridiculous amount of tips by delivering from fancier restaurants. Now, but this also applies to Uber Eats too. But the catch to that is, okay, if you deliver for fancier restaurants, you will get more tips, but they also may not be as busy as like delivering with McDonald's or Burger King or something like that. So McDonald's might be busier, and the fancier restaurant might give you more tips. Now, if I have to choose between the two, I personally will always choose the restaurants that are more busy, because I like quick turnover, because I want to make as much money per hour as I can. And tips are variable. You don't know if or when someone will tip you. But if you can get lucky and find that fancy restaurant that is both fancy and always busy, that charges a lot and is always busy, you found the perfect spot. And you can incorporate that into tip number 3, which is planning your strategy. You can post up at that fancy restaurant and just do order after order after order. Okay, tip number 9 is have an extra supply of utensils. And, you don't have to pay for them necessarily. If you go to a restaurant, maybe grab a couple extra utensils just to be on the safe side. So if you're driving, to a customer's home, oh my gosh, I forgot the utensils. You don't have to drive back, or you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to make up an excuse and say, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot your utensils. Just put them in the bag. If you forget a straw, you might want to keep a couple extra straws handy, so that you can just throw it in the bag real quick if you forget the straw at the restaurant, or if the restaurant forgot the straw. All right. So, these are just little helpful tips that can help, but it can help your rating. It can help you get tips. Trust me, this is through experience. Keep a small extra supply of napkins, whatever. Keep it on the side. And if you ever forget, or if the restaurant forgets, boom, you got them. Okay. And now tip number 10 is one that I really suggest you do. It's cover your behind, and that is take a screenshot of the order and your messages if anything goes wrong. If the customer isn't picking up the phone, if the restaurant got an order wrong, if the restaurant was slow, whatever it is, take screenshots, document everything. If you have to leave that food order by the door because they're not picking up, they're not answering, whatever it is, document, cover yourself. So boom, maybe even give Uber a call and say, hey, I've tried my best. This person isn't answering. I've left several messages. I've tried calling. They're not picking up. I'm leaving this food right here by the door. Take a picture of the food. where you left it, everything. Do everything you can to cover yourself. All right. So if a customer ever complains, boom, 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 you can send it straight to Uber. Like, I'm doing my job to a T, 100%. Okay. Now, those are the top 10 tips that you can do to make more money, to get better ratings, and to be a better driver with Ubereats. So if you have any, please leave me a comment. If there's something if there's a tip out there that I haven't covered, if you disagree with anything on this list, whatever it is, please leave a comment. Share to your friends on social media if you can. Subscribe. If this is your first time on the channel, please subscribe. I got a lot more tips, strategy, news from Uber and Ubereats. So, and as always, remember to drive and thrive.